In this episode we are going to take a closer look at wallets and pouches and purses from the Viking Age. As you might have seen in the last episode, I was making a replica of the small double-chambered wallet from Sigtuna in Sweden. And if you did not already see this video, be sure to check it out. I will leave a little link in the description below. Making these small wallets and pouches yourself is a good project, and I have made several over the years, and I do use them on an everyday basis in my reenactment. In this video, I will show you a wide selection of small bags and pouches, explore the design, features and their functions, and hopefully try to inspire some of you guys to try and make your own Viking wallets. As always, be sure to grab yourself a drink or a snack, get comfortable, and let's get right into it. For some reason, I seem to always have a need to organize my stuff and know where my things are. And small things tend to get lost if they're not organized well or are being carefully stored. It can be everyday items such as my flint and steel, or gathered and foraged goods such as birch bark or pine resin. But also things of even greater value such as my sewing kit, for example. It contains my needle case with hand-forged iron or bronze needles, scissors and stuff like that. And even also everyday items like game pieces, like dice or something. It could also be my personal hygiene set or even fine silver coins. The Vikings seem to have had the same need to transport, store and organize, and even safekeep their small personal belongings. And I think that it's a very comforting thought that we have this in common. We know it from many finds of different leather wallets, pouches or purses from all over the Viking world, ranging from simple leather pouches to very elaborate pieces of art flashing different materials and intricate designs. In some cases, the context of the archaeological find tells us something about the actual use of the bag, but mostly it is just very fragile fragments that often need careful interpretation before reconstruction. Sometimes the bags are found with a fair amount of silver and one clearly containing a comb. But in any case, we have small practical bags to organize our gear. Let's start with an example of a very simple pouch. This type is found in various sites from the Viking Age, and this one in particular is based off of Hedeby. It could be made from a circular piece of animal hide or leather, but this example is made from a rectangular piece sewn together. In the top, a strap is let through slits and the bag is tied and closed by pulling the string. Over the years, I have made several of this type of bag, and I always carry one in my belt that I use to collect dry stuff for tinder and fire making and stuff like that. This replica I lined with some plant-dyed wool just to make it a bit more comfortable. I use this bag here for my small handmade dice, game pieces, pieces of amber and small stuff like that. Another and relatively simple bag is the one from Eide in Norway. This one here was gifted to me by a friend, and I have used it on many trips out into the wild, transporting fresh herbs or garlics and stuff like that for cooking. Moving up from the most simple wallets, next we get to this lovely piece here, also from Norway, from a place called Gokstad. The leather fragments were in very poor condition, and there is some speculation to the pattern here. It is a wide and thin bag with a long leather strap that wraps around it to close it. This bag fits perfect for my personal hygiene kit containing my handmade antler comb and a fine silver set of an ear spoon, a nail cleaner and a small set of tweezers. Next in line is the small wallet from Sigtuna in Sweden that we made in the last video. The bag is made up of two simple figure 8 shapes sewn together inside out. The front piece has a simple tooling to the leather and the back has a slit. It practically gives you two separate compartments. The back is closed by tying the two straps together. I am not a rich man in silver or gold, but I do own two fine silver coins made by a good friend, and I use the Sigtuna wallet to safely store my coins. My personal theory about this type of wallet is that it might have been tied around a belt to keep the bag and its content safe. The next bag we're going to take a closer look at is from Roswinkel, a Viking settlement in the Netherlands. It is a rather large bag, found originally with a large amount of silver coins inside. But it fits perfectly for my sewing kit, containing my needle holder, my scissors, my flattening stone, my wax, my thread, and all sorts of small items for sewing. The bag has two compartments, and hidden on the inside, it showed traces of a small leather strap being sewn onto the surface of the leather as a form of decoration. The last in line is this marvelous piece here from Gokstad. I know of different interpretations of this bag, but this one in particular was made by a friend for another friend and then later found its way to me. It is a very elaborate piece with two compartments lined with dyed wool, and the outer parts made from leather are decorated with thread and open slits that are lined again with some red wool. All in all, it is a very fancy bag, but also a time-consuming project fit for fine people and rich folk. But in my reenactment, it serves as my fire kit, containing my fire steel, some flintstones, some char cloth or tinder fungus, and very often some birch bark that I pick up along the way when I'm traveling through the woods. For larger bags, we have the remains of a possible backpack from Gokstad that I use a lot on my journeys. I made this reconstruction several years ago, and if you're curious and if you want to see how that was done, I can recommend you to check out this video here. From the outskirts of the Viking world, we have this large leather satchel from Loch, Glashan in Scotland. Most likely it was used for transporting books and parchment in relation to the church. I have to be honest and tell you that our version here served as a nursery bag when our daughters were babies and we were at Viking events, so we carried diapers and tissues and stuff like that in this bag. But nowadays I bring it along when I need extra space for carrying things around. And then of course we have the very interesting wooden handled bag, often referred to as the Hedeby shoulder bag. Wooden handles like this are found all over the Viking world, and the interpretations cover everything from shoulder bags, something related to fishing nets, or handles for a bag-driven bellows, just to mention a few of the possibilities. I made this leather version of the bag 10 years ago, and I often bring it along as there is a lot of space and it's easily flung over the shoulder. And often I use this bag to carry some of my smaller pouches or purses inside. There is, of course, also other small bags and pouches that I have not mentioned in this video. But what you have seen here was a small selection of bags and pouches that I actually use and that I really like. There is one more thing that I need to say in relation to this topic. The fact is that there is very little that indicates that the classic belt bag with loops that attaches to a belt that is often seen in reenactment was something that the Vikings used a lot. There is a find from Birka in Sweden, and we do have some examples of very richly ornamented, fitted with metal fittings, beautiful examples from more eastern regions. I'm actually very curious to know if you have a favorite of the bags I've shown here today. Let me know in the comments below. That would be very interesting to know. And as always, feel free to write comments here in the section below, and I will get back to you and answer. Some of the more simple bags here can be a great way to start or get started with Viking leather work, and I strongly encourage you to try it out. They are small and easy to overcome projects with a practical use, and it can be made from almost any type of leather or animal hide. We are so used to modern backpacks and pouches with many zippers and small spaces like that, or even just to throw our keys or our coins into the pocket of our jeans. And as we have seen here, the Vikings must have had a need to do something similar to this. So naturally, they came up with various ways to do this. And no matter if you're into the most simple leather pouch, or if you are in need to have something more fancy to flash your status, the Vikings had you covered. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to write a comment below, click the like button, be sure to subscribe, and check out some of these videos here that I think might catch your interest. Stay safe, and I will see you soon.